plastic dominates our industry. But the sad reality is that very few plastics are recycled in today's world. 9% of plastics have ever been recycled, statistically speaking. Most of them are found in landfills, and worse yet, part of them are still being incinerated, which helps contribute or negatively impact ozone and the greenhouse effect. So it's a huge vat, water gets mixed in with paper, and it's mixed up like a batch of cookies, but a really runny batch of cookies. There's a few other key ingredients that are added into it to help with stability, to help with pH adjustment. It's got to be just right, kind of like the baking soda, kind of like the cornstarch that we use in some of our cooking practices, but paper products and water are the two main ingredients. So the way the molding process works is it starts with the slurry. We've got a series of screen-based molds that get dunked into this slurry. A vacuum negative pressure is applied to these molds, and the pulp literally gets sucked up to these brass molds, which then come out of the slurry, and they get dropped onto a big pizza oven type belt, and it goes through a heating oven to dry down the moisture content. Once they come off the end of the oven belt, they're able to be handled and packaged and prepared for shipment or put into the warehouse for storage for future orders. EcoGrow is this new thinner walled technology that was really designed around the needs of today's grower and today's retailer and some of the needs that today's consumers are looking for in a sustainable container alternative to plastic. So we have two primary lines of EcoGrow. We've got EcoGrow Standard, which is not organic certified, has the binding agent for strength. We manufacture EcoGrow out of post-industrial recycled newsprint. So this is printed paper, it's Sunday ads, it's black ink, it's colored ink. It's whatever you could expect to find in a Sunday ad or a Sunday newspaper when you bring it in to read it. You take that when you're done, we'll take that and we'll put it into our slurry to make EcoGrow pots. We do add a small amount of fungicide to this slurry to try to limit the mold growth that can sometimes persist with natural and sustainable alternatives available to us in the greenhouse. I kind of liken it to saprophytic mold that we sometimes find on the top of our pots as we're growing. And because of that, we can't claim that EcoGrow is compostable because the composting guidelines state that any non-allowed material cannot be used in a compost pile. Organic EcoGrow really comes into the growers that are organic certified. I get asked a lot, why do you have two lines of EcoGrow? Well, organic EcoGrow is made from post-industrial, unprinted new stock. So the NOP for organic certification and allowable materials does not allow for colored ink. It does not allow for glossy material or glossy paper to be used. So it's a really, really fine blend that we put together, and we're very particular about the new stock that we use. Very profound with the EcoGrow is there is no muck factor very shortly after, after the plants are planted and the plants are watered in. EcoGrow can be planted, FiberGrow cannot. You can plop the EcoGrow container right in the ground, and it provides for a zero waste solution. So nothing to go into the compost pile, the compost bin, the recycling bin, or the garbage, nothing going to the landfill. And they're automation friendly. We kept in mind what growers' needs are today when designing it. So all of our EcoGrow growing containers are developed around a tray that we offer in our portfolio. So they can be loaded into a shuttle tray and run through a flat filler, just like a normal plastic pot. And we do offer them in various sizes, and we continue to add and develop new sizes today. How do these containers last during the growing cycle? How do they do during a retail cycle? So we wanted to find out. Started trials. I did a lot of these trials myself, or I monitored them personally. I think it's important to mention that all of these trials were conducted in actual production greenhouses during actual production cycles, and they weren't simulated, so to speak. So I really feel comfortable that these trials were not biased. Direct stick cuttings are typical practice among greenhouse growers. There's a lot of volume in direct stick, and this is the one area where I thought we could really tax the performance and integrity of the EcoGrow containers. 100% humidity, a mist house. It's just wet all the time. So this trial was initiated in week 5. Cuttings were direct stuck into the 3.75-inch container. It was a standalone propagation house, near 100% humidity, phytotronics mist controller, side by side with geraniums being rooted in 50 plug sheets or prop sheets. We pulled these plants from the mist at 7 to 14 days roughly, moved them onto a finishing greenhouse, evaluated them on March 24th. The growth of the plants was pretty uniform and it was pretty vigorous. The roots were really good, pushed down to the bottom of the pot during that time frame. The one observation I did make was a little bit of mold. You know, we experienced a little bit of mold, which again, like I kind of compared to like saprophytic mold that we see on top of soil because of the humidity and the moisture conditions. But it was primarily where the pot contacted the plastic tray, where there's a little bit of a kind of a moisture pocket, and it dissipated over time. It just kind of went away. So I was pretty pleased with the performance of the containers, and I'm able to conclude that it was a appropriate application for our EcoGrow containers. I wanted to eliminate a plastic propagation pot and have something they could just pop right into their finished container, and it's a timed crop again, and they wanted to see how the EcoGrow would perform. So these unrooted Aglaonema cuttings were direct stuck into our 3.5-inch round EcoGrow. It was a 6-week liner program. And then at that time, at the end of 6 weeks, the Aglaonemas were popped right into the finished container, which was like a trade 2-gallon or trade 3-gallon foliage can. And they were growing on. At 4 weeks, we broke it down, we evaluated the crop, and there was extensive rooting at that point in root development. And the roots were pushing out the bottom of the pot, and the plants looked really good. I'm very encouraged and very happy and excited about how EcoGrow is working for growers who have incorporated into being part of their product mix, whether it be one of the growers that went 100% full scale with it, and that's all they do is EcoGrow, or if it's the grower that's working EcoGrow into as part of their organics program, which is part of their mix. We're getting really good results all around and good feedback all around.